Okay, great. Well, thanks everyone for showing up for the Donkey Kong Jr. tutorial. We've got Infinite Mystery here today. You could say hello so I know that I'm not lying to
Hello,
them.
how's everybody doing today? Sorry for work.
That's okay. I like to hear your voice. We got Toad also here.
Hello again.
Still here, I should say. And we also have lurking Everhate
Howdy and such.
and such. So he's going to be providing some of his expert opinion as well. And then myself, I'm Faisal. I'm the screen in the upper right. And I don't know how to play Donkey Kong Jr. But these other two screens are what you should watch if you want to see the experts play this. I say experts, but I mean, I think coming into this game, there was really no one who had any serious speedrunning knowledge of this game. So we're all just sort of figuring out as we go. And fortunately, it's such a short game that I think it was easy enough for some of the more ambitious players of this race to have picked it up already and gotten some strats. So we're just going to go over the basics, and there's not that much to this game, so it shouldn't take you too long to learn. But how many? Okay, so the goal is going to be to beat one loop of this game. So how many stages is that?
4 stages.
One stages.
4 stages. So we'll take these stages one at a time, and we'll all just kind of work on the same stage. We'll try to sort of stick together as we go. But maybe one person at a time should show us their route through it. So who would you like to go first? Infinite, you want to take this first level and explain what you do?
Okay, sure. Alright, so we have Donkey Kong Jr. And this first, basically, if you play it since the last 20 race, there was the Mario version of it where you had to save Daisy. Basically the same controls comply. You run, you jump. Only except now, as Donkey Kong Jr., you're climbing vines. So first thing to notice is when you're climbing the vines, if you're on one vine, you climb up very slowly.
Right.
But if you have another vine nearby, you climb up much faster.
So you can press left and right as you're on these vines to sort of grip just one vine or straddle both vines and then move over to the next one. So you can kind of press left and right as you're on these vines to avoid the enemies coming down. But when you're gripping 2 vines, you climb up very fast.
Correct. What you'll notice for these particular enemies that Mario is using against you, you'll see these blue and red alligators. Now, the blue alligators, coming from his whip, will climb, and actually both of the enemies red and blue will climb down these vines that you're using in an attempt to stop you. It is worth noting that unfortunately coming in contact with them at any time can kill your character.
So it's a one-hit death game.
Correct.
Okay. Also, you can
Now,
climb down vines very quickly, too, by holding just one, apparently.
That is correct.
yes.
Not that you're going to be doing much climbing down, I suppose.
Really just in the last level.
Just in the last level. Okay. Alright, so the route for this level 1.
The route for before I start the route is also worth noting that you can only, if you're trying to grab to a far vine and you miss it, or some objects which you'll see in a later stage, or even just fall damage, you will die as well. Not to mention his very short jump between platforms. So now, route-wise, you can just we'll want to hope that this red croc will decide to go down or up one of the vines immediately, just so that you can cross as soon as you get up there. But if he doesn't, you'll have to be patient and wait on him to use the next vine.
And that's going to be random. You can't really control that.
Unfortunately, no. So after waiting on that red croc, you can go down to, you can jump across this. You can jump across to that vine where I'm at now, but unfortunately, you do not have enough reach to grab the next vine, so you'll have to use those platforms down below. Make your way over, climb up, wait for the next set of, climb up and climb over to your vines over to the right. You'll also see these fruits placed in these, along these vines or in various stages. If you climb up any of these vines and any of these fruits hit an enemy, that's points, and it also gets rid of any red crocs that will stay on the ladder. I mean, that will, not the ladder, that will stay on the vine itself. The blue ones that Mario sends out will just go down indefinitely until it goes off completely. But the red ones will continuously go up and down. So now, as you reach the top, you're gonna see Mario attempt to stop you once more before you reach Donkey Kong whatsoever. So if one of those blue crocs randomly comes your way, like it's doing now, you can use this vine as a safety net. And then the level's finished.
So just reaching that platform at the top is the goal. Okay.
Correct.
All right, let's go through level 1 again and just show it all in sequence one more time.
Probably the only other thing to notice in this level, when you get to the very top, which I'll show, where that red croc is right now, there's that small stationary, I mean, not even small, you'll see this area where where the croc is, you'll be kind of stuck in the corner if you don't jump just early enough.
Oh.
At least sprite wise. Like so. If you're holding all the way left, when you're right here, you can't even jump. So you'll have to maybe stay back maybe 1 pixel just so that you can actually jump up to the second portion.
You do
So
have those couple of vines at the top, but jumping over enemies is also fairly generous. It's pretty similar to just the original Donkey Kong. So those things, especially as they're moving toward you, are pretty easy to jump over. As opposed to grabbing a vine and waiting for him to pass.
Yeah, it seems like really the only tricky part of this level is that first red alligator.
Pretty much.
So you don't know what he's going to do.
If he goes up, down, or left towards you in the beginning, you can go over past him if you climb and tap right fast enough.
Oh, if he goes towards you, if he goes left at the beginning, you can just climb up and go over his head.
You can just climb and go, just like I did just right there. You can just climb right over his head and go past him. The only pattern that you have to stop for him is if he goes right in the beginning. Or you can just then go over to the very top platform and jump over to the vine in that case.
If he goes
So
right
here
at the
you go.
beginning.
That will occasionally stop you as well, but there are, like, you can either jump left from the second to last platform, grab the vine, or you can go all the way to the right. So you just have to react to what pattern it gives you.
Yeah, the only bad red pattern is if he goes right at the beginning. Any of the other patterns you can zip right past where his little platform is.
All right. If he goes right at the beginning, you said you can go to the upper platform instead to go over him? All right.
And then you can just jump over to the vine from the upper platform.
Got it. But you want him to go left or up. That's the way to go. All right.
And you can just speed right past him. And also noted...
because I don't... Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't think we mentioned yet. Basically, when you're moving left and right on the vines, you can basically move across them as fast as you can mash, as opposed to just holding the direction and waiting for it to move.
Right, you can just tap, you can just mash the D-pad and you switch vines every time you hit it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up.
Cool.
I like to bring, in some situations, like in level 4 where you don't need to jump at all, I like to bring my right thumb over to help tapping to right, because I can actually mash much better with my right thumb. You could go just flying through here depending how fast you can mash.
And of course, when possible, you want to avoid the fruit, because when you make contact with one of the fruits, it'll fall down, and if it hits an enemy, then the screen's going to stop for a second or two while it, it does damage to them and gives you points and everything. There are a couple of them that you're going to hit. You just kind of hope that there's not an enemy underneath you when that happens.
I don't know if it's certain if you sit under one of these red gators, if it'll manipulate him or not, but I like to sit under him if he's sitting on top of the platform. And you're having a hard time trying to jump over him. If you sit in the vines underneath, I think he'll come chase you, so you can get him out of the way.
Okay. Alright, so you want to talk about level 2, or you think there's any more to be said about level 1?
I think that's about it for level 1.
Alright. Well, I'm going to set a save in level 2, and we can go through this.
Just as a little thing, when you jump onto the last pine at the top in 1, 2, or 3, you don't have to switch from left to up. You can just continue holding left and you'll climb that vine. It doesn't make a difference, but
yeah, the moment you touch the vine, it looks like it takes over for you.
Yeah.
And we're on level 2 now.
Yeah, let's do level 2 now.
Oh yeah. There's a way to skip doing the beginning right under part of this level by trampolining up to the floating platform up here. How I time it is DK Jr.'s little squeaks. After his little third squeak on his walk, you just jump and hold the A button, and it'll boost you all the way up to this platform. And it skips the lower right part of this place. You can just then wait and jump up to the left one of these moving, I don't know what they are, moving vines or whatever. So after the third squeak, you just hold A, and you'll boost right up to the platform every time. Because falling off this platform also is just enough distance for you to die as well, so you gotta be careful. If you do it a little early, it'll just knock you straight off the platform and you'll die. And after that, it's just avoid the really, really easy 2-bird pattern up here. It's just one that goes low and then one that goes high. The first one lays an egg, but you shouldn't have to worry about that unless you're under him at the time, so be careful when the first one's flying over. Other than that, it's just mash right to get to the right as fast as you can, and then wait for your jumping opportunity up top. There's a pretty wide open one on the first loop, and you can completely avoid the birds. And again, avoid the fruit. You don't want to kill the birds because it'll waste time.
Okay.
That's pretty much it for level 2. Just make sure, and if you don't skip, it's not too hard. If you just jump and don't hit jump, don't hold A to jump, you'll easily hit the platform under the floating platform. And then you just jump a couple of easy jumps over and do it the long way. And when the floating vine, but then you gotta watch out for the egg, like right there. The egg will land on the platform before you can jump over to one of those moving poles that you can grab to get onto the floating platform. But at the beginning, if you just hold right and on the third squeak, jump, you'll get on the platform every single time.
Yep.
So you
You can also just jump when his nose is even with the right side of that green platform. Same thing. It's a pretty broad window, it looks like.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's also a good marker. Yeah. Both will land you. You have, like, probably, like, a few good frames or pixels there to do it. And, yeah, that's stage
Yeah,
2.
Yep.
it's worth going for. Like, even if you die, it's fairly quick to just go back and go again, and everything will be spawned in the same position, so that
Yeah.
that same setup still works, and you're not likely
Mhm.
to die in the next couple of stages.
Yeah, the pattern is always reset at the beginning. It never changes. There's no RNG in this one.
All right. While you're on the those hanging platforms that are hanging from that whatever that you call it, and you may as well move up as far as you can just to while you're waiting for it to move over to the left because you got to
Right.
wait anyway. So just get all the vertical height that you want out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Remember to grab both vines while whenever you're climbing upwards, as we said before.
Mm-hmm.
When you get to the very top, there's this spot where these birds are going down the gap. If you're jumping and there's not going to be room for you to land to the other side without hitting a bird, like if there happens to be a bird right there and you'd have to slow down for it, you can actually kind of over jump it a little bit, jump a little later than you would need to, and you can grip onto this little tiny short vine that's coming out the ceiling, that's coming out of the last digit of
Oh, yeah.
of the top score. So if you don't want to just, if you happen to be at a bad position where you would hit a bird as you jump over that gap, just go right over to the chain instead of waiting.
There's also one of those safety vines in the first level as well.
Yep, that's true. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, well, I think I'm ready to take on level 3.
Okay, so for level 3, there's not too much to this particular level. You'll see some enemies patrolling the area, which you'll either just jump over or stay on the platform. At first, I actually thought that this was like some kind of electricity that would hurt you, but then I see that it isn't. So you're perfectly safe to jump as long as there's no moving enemy above you. Now you'll see these blue sparks that Mario controls. Those will patrol upper sections of the pipe, and then you'll see them moving on to the lower end of it, being the ones that you actually have to jump over in order to reach your destination. While these orange sparks just stay above you.
So the orange sparks will just stay on the platform, and the blue sparks will come down this little ladder things. Or these little
Correct.
circuit
Yes.
things. Got it. Okay.
And you're just basically proceeding left to right. Not too much to deal with here. Although when you get to the top, you'll see one more enemy that moves much faster than the others. And that's a very quick level.
Yeah, and depending on how well you execute, getting onto the vines and switching over to, and how close you cut the drops, there are a couple of cycles that work out differently. If you're a little bit slow, the fruit that you have to hit is going to kill an enemy. If you're fast enough, you can basically clear everything without having to wait.
That was interesting. While attempting to cross one of the top platforms, that blue spark enemy, where it's actually able to use a ladder, it seems that it wants to home in on your position if you're near the very top. Let's see if he'll do that again, because I only happened to notice it while he was crossing.
Right.
There's a quick way to do the beginning of this stage that BB pointed out. if you're quick enough in the vine, you can jump over the first spark and just continue going right the whole time without slowing down or waiting for the first yellow orb to go by.
Oh yeah, you don't have to wait at the beginning. Yep.
And you don't have to jump for the vines on the side. You can just walk into them.
You don't have to
I
jump
didn't
to
know
the
that.
vines on the side. Oh.
Hmm.
Yeah, you can just walk right into them. That's cool.
Interesting.
That way, ducking under some of those blue sparks are not such a hassle.
Yeah, I definitely think it helps to use my other hand to mash sideways when I'm on these
Yeah.
parallel things, these vertical things.
Huh. So if you do this right, you don't even need to stop on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, the timing is a little bit tight, but if you get it just right, you can go through without stopping.
Nice.
Mostly it's a matter of how quick your vine switching is and how close to the platforms you land on.
Yeah, it's the vine
Mhm.
switching definitely that makes the difference. It's nice that you don't have to jump into the vines, because that makes it much easier to get underneath the blue sparks when they're waiting for you at the end.
Just to note that when you jump on the vines on the side, you do go up higher when you jump onto them. So you can shave a little time if you
Might
can
be
jump.
faster. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. It makes. In fact, you're probably going to need to do that, because otherwise, once you get up to the third of the spark platforms, the third pink spark will hit you
Mm-hmm.
if you haven't saved enough time. Because it moves a little bit faster than you. It's moving in the same direction as you, but a little bit faster.
Yes.
Oh, and be careful not to knock the fruits onto things.
Big time waster.
Big time waster, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of whether you can clear the third platform has to do with how close you cut your drop onto the platforms themselves.
Yeah.
Like
that's
climbing the minimum distance up before you move over, as opposed to dropping down onto them.
Mm-hmm. Also, you gotta be more careful as trolley blue sparks, too. I think it's
But
random
if you
which,
do get caught by that one, like the on the third platform, your best bet is just to wait for it to get close to you and then neutral jump to clear it.
Yeah, or if the fourth spark is coming at you, yeah, neutral jump. Okay, cool.
Overall,
Before
not a
time
hard
the
screen.
loop is fast enough. If you time it right, you can do a forward jump, and it'll move past you by the time you land. Since it moves so much faster than you do.
I see. You can jump and go over it while it's moving in the same direction as you. That's cool.
Yeah, like the first one moves slow enough that you can do that, and then the last one moves fast enough that you can do that. The first one shouldn't be an issue, but the last one might be.
Gotta be careful not to go. You will knock a fruit onto one of those,
Yeah,
Yellow
the second
sparks.
fruit. Yeah, you'll knock it fruit right on there. All right. think I'm ready to take on the 4th and final level.
Let's do it.
Here's where you're going to have to really get used to your D-pad mashing.
You only really need to jump once here and then kind of use both thumbs on your D-pad for ultimate quick mashing. This is where you can take advantage of the double vine. You can actually bump 2 keys up at once in the middle part.
Right, and you also have to know that you want to be on just one vine when you're going downwards, because that's the faster way. So what do you do? Do you do the first key, then the next pair, then the next pair, then the last key?
The pattern I always do is the first key because it's free, because there's no gators or birds in the way. Then I do the next 2 next to it, because all you have to do is dodge birds. And then depending on gate or RNG, I might go for the last key.
Okay.
Because the gators might both go down on like either one vine or depending, you might be able to dodge the gators. If you're going up as they're going down, you can just step out of the way for a second and let them just shoot past you, and then you can continue getting both keys up. It might also be noted to be faster that if there's a gator in front of you as you're trying to bump up like your last key or something, if it's on the vine on the right there where the one fruit is, you can knock that fruit down on top of him to get him out of the way, and it will be faster to kill him and then continue up faster than waiting, bumping up the key slowly at his pace.
Yeah, and you can also, as you're climbing down, move directly through the locks. So sometimes it's better to move over onto like the third vine, then climb all the way down.
You can come at the locks. You can come at the keys from above, and it doesn't push them down or anything.
Right.
I see.
So it gives you a lot of flexibility, just depending on what type of enemy patterns you get. It's a pretty easy stage, though.
Yeah.
Just climbing and vine mashing.
Yeah, it's definitely tough when you have one of the gators that's going up, and you have to wait for him. So he goes at a really slow pace.
Yeah, you might want to switch off and do another key at that point if he's on the vine that you can't knock a fruit off.
So you just hope it's not the last one.
Yeah.
Or if you see it coming, you can do the one on the far right and then go back and get the other 2. But it's easy enough just to do them in order left to right.
Yes, both hands on the D. That's really all there is to this stage. It's probably the simplest stage of them all.
Yeah.
Just knock the keys up and avoid the gators and birds. Make sure that you double vine up and single vine down.
Alright.
And
Do you guys want to do a race through this and just show all the
last stage
stuff?
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah, this is it. And then I guess the timing is going to end when that ceiling disappears. Or something, I think. The official ending points for all the games will get posted pretty soon. That's... Bad Rakes is working on getting that decided for every one of them.
Yeah,
And those
could be
will be
when the
posted
ceiling disappears. Could be when you catch Donkey Kong. Like it ends up being the same either way. But yeah, after this stage, the stage continues to loop, and they add like more enemies and such. But for purposes of this goal, you don't need to worry about it. It doesn't even get difficult until like loops 5 or 6 or so.
Yeah, I think this one's easier than the first Donkey Kong that we played.
But we had great ladder glitches.
Yeah, that ladder glitch was pretty awesome in the first one. There's
Yeah, it
nothing like
was.
that here.
Yet. Give it a couple more weeks, somebody will find
Someone will find something cool.
trampoline all the way up to the top.
Oh, I'm stuck. This red guy... Oh, okay, there he goes. That red gator was waiting for me, and now he got me.
Need to find a way to jump to the left, get stuck in the wall, and zip to the top. Easy every time.
I'm all for this.
All right. Do you guys want to do a race through here?
Sure.
All right. Let's get back to the title screen. All right. I'm going to have less delay than you guys, so it's going to look like I'm winning, but I'm not really. All right, cool. Does pressing start from at any point? Yeah, it takes you into the game, so it doesn't matter if you're in the demo. All right, just checking. Okay, how about I count us down here?
Sure.
3, 2, 1, go. I'm dead already.
Bad Red Croc luck.
First stage done.
First stage done.
Oh, I'm dead again. Oh my god.
Second stage done.
I actually thought I was in Reach of the Vine, and for some reason I fell straight down.
Ooh. Went for speed strats and died.
Getting trolled by the
Yeah,
crowd again.
this is one of those games where the save strats are not much slower than doing it the normal way. Given it's the first game, it may pay off just to play it safe.
Mm-hmm.
Note to self, never jump into the enemy right when I'm trying to go for the vine.
Yeah, that's one of those situations where it's helpful to know you don't have to jump.
Done.
Nice. Good finish. I died too much, so I started again. I got some troll gators, and then I fell off the springboard in level 2.
Oof.
Springboards are not your friend.
It's tricky.
I honestly didn't think it was possible to get the spring on the first, upon first entering the stage. That's why I usually avoid it before. At least first cycle.
Yeah, it's possible
Yeah.
for the first 4 loops, I think it is. Maybe the first 3 loops, and then you get a different pattern on the 4th, something like that.
Yeah, the platform starts on the left instead of right, stays on
That's
the right.
done.
Done. Alright, cool. Nice. So that's Donkey Kong Jr.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very straightforward
Short.
game. Short and sweet.
Mm-hmm.
It's really just, run through the game a couple of times, you'll get the hang of it, and it's real easy to pick up.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Yeah, just get used to the hitboxes. Your hitbox is bigger than it seems.
Much easier than the second game on this list.
Balloon fight.
Yeah,
A little
balloon,
bit.
balloon fight we're going to be talking about on Monday. Can't wait.
Me neither.
Cool. All right. Anyone got any questions, or is there anything else that any of you guys want to say?
I think
I don't think so.
everything has been covered.
Yeah.
What kind of time
Very
should we
short,
expect to
very
get
easy.
for this?
I would say 2 minutes and
Yeah.
15 seconds or something like that.
2:15 about. Okay.
Yeah. Anything between 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Between 2 and 3 minutes. All right. Assuming you don't die.
Right.
Yeah, if you don't die, and because you could get a couple of different patterns in like stages 1 and 4 and cost yourself a few seconds, but
I got
under
some
3 minutes is really easy.
Yeah, there's some trolling from these red alligators. It's definitely a possibility.
Big time.
But just wait for them, because if you die because you're, trying to get too aggressive with these things, you're going to set yourself way back. It's better to just wait the 5 seconds for that thing to get out of the way than to risk getting killed.
Absolutely.
Gotta save all the frames so you can lose 20 seconds.
Right. But it's the first game of the race, so don't go overboard. Just get through it and move on to some of the other ones. Because by the end of the race, I'm sure you'll be making mistakes that are costing you huge amounts of time compared to the couple seconds that it would take you to wait for this. So just don't get too aggressive too soon, I think. That's my advice, personally.
It's good advice.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. Thanks
All right.
for being on and doing this.
No problem.